And welcome back to the Gulf Coast Growth Show. My name is Jason Lee. I'm your host. And today we are joined by Miss Karen Gregory. She has been on the show before, but now she's here in a new role. And we're excited to have her part of the team. She is the contracts manager here at the Economic Alliance Houston Port Region. And again, if this is your first time tuning in to the show, just to kind of give you a big kind of a backdrop, the Economic Alliance is really kind of a third-party advocate between really the stakeholders, so the businesses that serve here in this region, as well as the government bodies, so the cities, the counties, even the state. And so a lot of legislative work, a lot of work going on between transportation, logistics, oil and gas, midstream, downstream, refinery. So we really touch on everything that has an impact here in the Gulf Coast. And so Karen is a new addition to the team. We're excited to have you.
Thank you.
So for our audience today, we're just going to really kind of tune this in. We've seen her at some meetings, so she's been wandering around and everybody's been asking, so
what is she
doing here? So we thought, what better chance to really do kind of an introduction to Karen. She was phenomenal in our previous time having her on here. Just a joy to be around. And so why don't we just talk about that? So Karen, why don't you fill in our audience a little bit on kind of your background, what you were doing before. We had you here before.
Sure.
Right. So what were you doing then? And then what are you doing now?
Okay. So previously I was on the executive board with the Economic Alliance representing CenterPoint Energy. I had been with that company for about 39 years. Left CenterPoint last July and was kind of easing into retirement. And of course I stayed on the executive board and stayed in touch with Chad and all the staff here because I consider them friends, you know, as much as anything. Anyway, I was having lunch with Chad earlier this year, February, I believe, and he approached me and said, would you consider coming on board? We're looking to create a new role as contract manager, for government contract manager.
Nice.
So, of course, I jumped on the opportunity and came on board, I guess, end of March. So my previous role at CenterPoint, I had been in economic development for about 12 years. Just helping the organizations within our footprint, you know, market the area, business attraction, all the things that economic development entails. So I'm familiar with kind of the workings of this organization and knew a lot of the people from the cities that are in this footprint. So I've come on board and I am now the contracts manager.
Got it. So contracts. So for people to understand, tell us a little bit about what makes economic development organizations unique, because I think a lot of times people join an organization for business purposes. So meaning they come on board and then they go, okay, I'm a member now, let me go to this networking event. Let me go over here to get some business. Let me go over here to do this and meet these guys and network. So a lot of times it's driven that way because it's a revenue producer for people. They would consider it marketing, right?
Correct.
That being said, these organizations they kind of serve two-pronged, the stakeholders and then the bridge over to trying to drive economic development.
To basically the communities.
The communities, right. And so I think this is community-driven. So how does it fit into the community? So help us better understand the relationship that an organization like this would serve for these cities.
So obviously we are the kind of regional representative for this area. But within that, you've got, we serve 11 cities. We have agreements with 11 cities. And so we partner with them to do business attraction. You know, for the cities, it's about bringing businesses, keeping businesses in. That's a tax base for them. And so, you know, the workings of economic development help those cities thrive and stay viable. So we have agreements with the 11 cities. We typically have 3-year agreements with them for economic development services. And a lot of it's just the basic, you know, we do the marketing and what this organization does, but they're represented through an economic development organization like us. So some cities have economic development staff and we partner with them, or we leverage the relationships we have to help them in their economic development efforts. Other cities don't have necessarily an economic development staff or dollars dedicated to it, so we are their representatives. So, you know, every 3 years we go in for contract renewal. I came on board this year, it's contract renewal time. And we've got, you know, kind of a list of agreed services, and we make sure we do all that. Chad goes out every year and gives an annual report to City Council or to the Economic Development Board. and that's kind of where I am right now. So we're in the, what I'm busy with right now is kind of getting these new contracts, these contracts renewed with the cities, and it gives me an opportunity to kind of meet them and some of the players with the city as well. So
that's great. And so to really to bridge that gap from when we think about advocacy and even liaison, right? And so if you think of I always laugh because you can go down Pasadena Boulevard, and I mean, essentially you could just, or Fairmont, and you can go from Pasadena to Deer Park to LaPorte, and basically head on out to Baytown if you want, and if you bust right, you hit Seabrook, Kemah. So if you think of all, I mean, just in this pocket, there's 4, 5, 6 little cities, and each one of them has ordinances and different thought processes and different goals and different departments, and they're all having to, my city wants what it wants. While at the same time, if we do this construction project on 225, it impacts
the region.
Everybody. Or somebody might say, well, I don't want heavy equipment come through my backyard. While on the other hand, another company saying, I need that heavy equipment coming through my backyard because it creates this. And so to better understand that relationship, I guess this is really designed to help serve as that person sitting in the middle going, okay, well, let's look at the big picture, the scope of development, right?
Right.
Okay, fantastic.
So, I mean, our organization, we're member driven. We consider the cities members, but you've got industry, you've got government. Well, and actually our revenue, it's like 1/3 city agreements, 1/3 membership, and then 1/3 events and the things that we do to generate money. So, our city contracts are very important to us. Those are great partners. And what I really like about this area is how well the cities all work together. They really do. You can go to other parts of, even within the Houston area. I know it's very prevalent in Dallas. They're not always, they don't necessarily always play well in the sandbox. And this is such an easy area to cover because they are so cooperative and collaborative. But I really feel like the economic development or economic alliance is a great convener of that. This is a place where they do come together and share ideas and best practices and talk about transportation concerns or, what's going on in the petrochemical industry. And, this organization has always been what I consider the great convener for representing what we do in this area.
I love that, the great convener.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I'm going to get...
Should I trademark that?
Yeah, I think you should. Yeah, we should sell T-shirts with the great convener on the back. Well, as we kind of wrap up, I know you're still figuring things out.
I am.
This is a new role.
It's a new role for this organization.
Yeah, for this organization.
Yeah.
So, but if you had some key things that, over the next 12 months that you would say these are you said it's renewal year. So what does that really look like for you and where you're going to be spending your energy and time?
So I feel like, at hand is getting these contracts renewed, getting our annual reports presented. I feel like also my role is to interface and the port, and I want to touch on Harris County as well. Getting these contracts renewed, but being available and going out, reaching out and listening to what's going on. I mean, we think we know, kind of policy issues and we're trying to stay abreast of that, but spending, my role is to spend more time with these cities, listen to them and make sure we're hitting on these policy concerns. So it's just kind of being out there, listening, making sure we're hitting everything we need to hit. Or if there's kind of a change in the wind, being aware of it. Being aware,
absolutely. Because I would think you can't just put your head down and always try to assume status quo.
I mean,
especially with the volatility in the world.
Well, and that's right. I mean, you look at the state legislation; they're going to reconvene, but there's things that are going on in Austin that clearly impact the cities, and we advocate for our local cities and our local area. So, we want to make sure we're listening, that we know their concerns, that we're advocating in the right direction. So
great.
Yeah.
So as far as
I did want to hit on Harris County.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they've got an economic development. They've always had economic development representation, but they've kind of have a new initiative. It's now called the Department of Economic Equity and Opportunity. And so they're looking to, I think, kind of expand what they do beyond the old paying incentives for for new businesses coming in, permitting, things that we always, we worked with them to help our industries. But this is, it'll be interesting to see where they take this. I feel like we're very well positioned and aligned with kind of, I think, where this direction is going, because our workforce group here is they do such a great job of outreach and presenting opportunities to, the high schoolers. They go even lower than that, but just what kind of opportunities are out in the industry, the good paying jobs, and that I really feel like with the county's initiative, it's going to be a great partnership, a really stronger partnership.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, that's great news. And then fun stuff about you. So, obviously people want to know about Karen a little bit. Is there anything that you want to share?
Well, as we touched on last time, I'm a huge Texan fan.
How do you feel about that?
Oh, God, that has just blown up. That is just not in a good place right now.
Yeah. Did you want to think about becoming a Cowboys fan?
Never.
No. Okay. All right.
Never.
Okay.
Never. Never.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that. So it's gonna be a fun. I'm gonna enjoy seeing you for the next few years. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be quiet. But yeah, it's been a horrible It's been a horrible. Well, last time we talked about the previous coach, and it's like a path of destruction that guy has left.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, I was actually, the other day I was telling somebody, because they were talking about another one of our Houston teams, the Rockets, but when they made that big trade, we were talking about how they have this huge opportunity coming up where there's probably going to be a massive amount of draft picks. In 4 or 5 years, we might have a pretty solid basketball team, similar to what the Astros did.
Right.
And then there's the Texans. Like, they actually don't have anything coming.
They gave away everything.
Yeah, so they just basically gave away the farm for nothing, and so maybe the most self-destructive.
We're officially the new Detroit Lions.
Yeah. All right.
Excuse me. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. So, congratulations, Houston.
Yeah.
So,
anyway,
no,
we'll get through it.
But you always have such a joyful personality.
Well, thank you.
I think everybody's excited to see you around, and now we have a kind of a better understanding.
I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah.
As you guys know, this is such a great group of people, and so it's just fun to come into work every day and do my job, but hang out with them. And, that's how you should want to spend your time.
Absolutely. Well, we are fortunate to have you, and as always, for our audience, again, you can tune in each week via any of the podcast channels. So if you can go to Spotify, Apple, iTunes Music, any of that, and then you can always go to the Economic Alliance Houston Port Region's website, and you can subscribe there. So they actually have a media tab. You can get update on events and things that are taking place. Again, one of the best things that they have there is their calendar of events. I would encourage over the next few months that you pay very much attention to what's going on, because there's always great things that are happening, especially with the economy opening up. So just this week, some phenomenal things that they put together, from a legislative meeting where we got to spend time with some of the local legislators and hear what's happening in Austin, all the way to the women. It was the
Women in Alliance.
Women Alliance yesterday, which had over 350 women show
mostly
up.
Women.
Mostly women.
A few fellas wanted to get in there and hang with the women. It was cool.
It was cool. So that giant event turned out, and so we're really seeing a breakthrough and some extreme energy being poured into diversification when it comes into women in industry. And so we're excited about that and want to continue to champion that. And so, again, Karen being one of them, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
You're just a joy to have around. And we'll see you guys next week. Tune in to us at the Gulf Coast Growth Show. Talk to you soon.